breakdown and thermal energy going up. And then
that's why it's
I grew one of my e-commerce brands from 0 to 2 million in sales in just over 6 months as a full-time college student. Like real shit, there's too many people misspreading information out there, so from bro to bro, I'm gonna tell you everything I did, from how I found the product, from how I launched it, to how I scaled it and turned it into a full-fledged brand. Cause like you guys, I'm just, a normal kid, bro. I'm in college, this is my apartment at school, it's my ID card, like, I'm just like you guys, there's literally nothing separating me, so no gatekeeping in this, like we're killing all the gurus, none of that bullshit around here. So if you guys wanna see what I did to really grow this brand, just keep on watching. Hey, and before we get into it, I have to show you the revenue breakdown, so I'm gonna show you how much I'm spending on ads, how much I'm spending on the goods, and what the total net profit is so far. As you guys can see, we launched this brand in about March, and in terms of net profit on this brand, our margins are really, really good. As you guys can see, we spent about 700 grand on ads, and our net profit is also about 700 grand. The cost of goods and our break even is really, really good, just because we came off the rip with, custom everything. So this brand has been really, really good for us so far. Alright, so we're not going to waste any time at all. We're going to get straight into it and, talk about how I actually grew this brand and what I did. So my brand stems from e-commerce, specifically dropshipping, and you guys should already know what that is, but it's basically just a business model where I ship my product from China all the way to the customer's door without actually seeing the product myself. It stems from that. It's not dropshipped anymore. It's grown to, get to a point where I'm holding inventory in the US. It's being made in the US, but that's besides the point. So getting into it, finding a product to dropship is one of the hardest things, I would say. It's very, very time consuming, but it has to be done. I'm sure you guys know. So I'm just going to talk about how I exactly found this product and the criteria I typically look for. And, I'm not going to sit here saying some bullshit like, oh, find a problem solving product. I mean, it's true, right? But you can know all that, but if you don't know the right places to look, it's going to make it a lot harder. But I'm going to just clear out the air and just get the most basic points out the way. So like I said, it has to be a problem solving or like insecurity type of product where, it makes people feel a certain way because you really want to dive into the demographic of your customer, right? They're just going to be scrolling on their phone and shit, and they're going to be seeing your ad, and they're going to have to impulse buy it, right? So nobody's just going to impulse buy a fucking fidget spinner or like a fucking, just some stupid toy, It really has to appeal to them and resonate with them. So it has to be something that they're like, oh, I'm going to stop scrolling and go to this fucking site and put my credit card information and buy. You guys really need to think from the customer's shoes. Like, a product being cool isn't enough. It has to have some sort of emotional response, whether it's like an insecurity, solving a really big problem. And like, I know, like I said, it's super basic, everyone always says it, but no one really explains why this is important and like the psychology behind it. Cause just look when you guys are just scrolling on your own phone, like observe your own behavior. You guys are scrolling super fucking fast, you're not paying attention to anything. You're literally watching a video for 3 seconds, and if it doesn't interest you, you're just gonna fucking scroll to the next video. So think of how fast people are scrolling and think about what it's going to take for them to stop scrolling, exit their little stream of dopamine and go put their credit card information and buy it. It has to usually be something that's, solving a problem, solving an insecurity, making their lives easier. And it, for beginners as well, it has to be kind of a visual product. Of course, you can sell products that aren't too visual, but as a beginner, having an ad and like having visuals that already sell the product is super good. But anyways, I'm sure you guys already heard that, so very basic, we're just gonna breeze past that. So in order to find products specifically for this one, I was just scrolling on my Instagram and TikTok doing the burner method, and I'll put some clips on the screen right here, but it's literally just a method where you go fucking make a new Instagram/TikTok and you just interact with a bunch of dropshipping videos, a bunch of ads, and you'll eventually just get a bunch of products. And I was scrolling and I saw this product and I was like, oh shit, like it solves a really big problem. There's like a really big hole in the market. It solves it. It's visual, it seemed pretty cheap to source, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna try it out. And this method is honestly one of my favorites, but this was a while ago, and now there's a tool called Calodata. This is probably the best product research method that's out there right now, so pay attention to this. It's basically just a tool, I'll link in the description. It's a tool where you can go on TikTok Shop and just see all the trending items. It just shows you everything that's trending on TikTok Shop right now. And what's great about that is, if you don't know how TikTok Shop works, it's basically just a platform where creators create videos and they get a commission of the product that they sell. So it's all driven by user-made content. You can easily just steal those ads on TikTok Shop and bring them to Meta. So it's another really good product research method that I recommend. But for this brand specifically, I found it through the brander method, just scrolling and just, interacting with a bunch of products. So the second I saw it, I literally jumped out of fucking bed and I made the website and I started scraping content online. Because the biggest thing is taking action with dropshipping. Like, you can't just sit there fucking doing nothing, jerking off. Like, you guys really need to get up and take action. So I got up out of my bed, immediately went on my, Shopify store and just used one of my templates to build up my site. I use Impulse, Impact, Shrine. Those are really good themes to test. Shrine's a pretty shitty theme, to be honest, but it really works for, just testing the water. It's very easy to set up, very user friendly. But got up out of my bed, I took the fucking action, got up, made the site. You definitely don't want to overcomplicate the site at all. You want to just steal content you see online and, edit it a bit, put it on your site, and just make it very, very brief. A lot of people overcomplicate the site and take so long to make it look all beautiful and shit. Like, I'm not saying make some dog shit site, but it's pretty fucking easy to make a decent converting site in just like, an hour or 2 hours. You don't want to be spending the whole day making the site, because think about it this way, right? Let's say you make a super good site, you launch your ads, and your ads are fucking shit. No one's gonna go to your site, no one's gonna get fucking sales. Like, you just wasted all your time building such a beautiful site when you should really be focusing on the ads. So building the site is very, very simple, guys. Don't waste your time doing it. But I built the site out and I started immediately focusing on the ads. I looked for content on TikTok, Instagram, places like that, mainly TikTok, and I just ripped it and I edited it on CapCut. You don't want to be fucking ordering the product, filming videos yourself with your phone. You're just gonna waste your fucking time. I know Jordan Bound or whatever talks about that. You don't need to do all that, guys. Like, nobody does that. Anyone who's doing numbers doesn't test by filming content themselves. You just want to go ahead and steal content online, and that's exactly what I did. I went on TikTok, I went on Instagram, and I just searched up my product, and I was like, alright, bet. I'm gonna put this in SnapTik, I'm gonna download it, and I'm gonna put it in CapCut and make my ads. So now we're kind of moving into the most important part of the testing strategy, right? What I really tested to grow this brand, which is my fucking ads. It's the most important thing, guys. This is the shit that should be taking you a while to build. This is the stuff you really need to be pouring your hours into. So now that we have the whole product research website stuff out of the way, like, that's like the minority, I guess, of, building your brand and really, getting your product off the ground. The main thing we're going to talk about, like I said, is just the ads. So the ads are really important because that's what's going to drive sales and, give you validation if your product is good or not. And like I was saying, don't waste your time building your website. Like, you can make your website all cool and fancy and make your logo super cute and your branding and all that shit. But imagine your ads are bad and they just flop. So don't waste your time on making all that shit super cute. Focus on your ads. Make your ads really, really good. And in terms of this brand, what I did was I went on TikTok, got a bunch of clips of just testimonials, clips without any text on it, so I can add my own text, add my own voiceovers, stuff like that. So I got a bunch of those clips, went to CapCut, and I followed a simple, 3-step breakdown. And with this breakdown, you have your hook, your body, and your offer. So your hook is gonna just be how you're capturing their attention, right? So put yourselves in the shoes of your customers. They're just people scrolling on, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, and they're giving each video a couple seconds and then scrolling, right? And if the video captures their interest in the first couple seconds, they'll stay. If it doesn't, they're gone. It's very, very fast paced. It's all just a dopamine platform. So you guys want to tap into that psychology and think about how you're going to attract the right customers. You don't want to attract the wrong customers, right? Like, I'll give you an example. I'm going to just build a whole example off of this product, which is shapewear, right? That's just, your tummy control tights that just, make people look less fat, show off their curves, stuff like that. So with that product, you want to be capturing the attention of that consumer base. You want to really dive into the demographic of who is going to buy that product, right? So for example, a hook that you could use with shapewear would be, some girl talking about how she instantly transformed her stomach, or like instantly transformed her figure in a couple seconds. That would capture the attention of someone who would be interested in that product, because that's the problem that they're having, that they're fat, right? So that's an example of a hook you could do, like very, very basic. It's just gonna really capture the audience that you want to sell to. You don't want to capture anybody else's attention. You want to really appeal to the psychology and the reason on why they'd be buying that product, right? So the second component of your ad is going to be the body, and this is where you're going to talk about your unique selling points and how your product is going to change their lives and solve their problems. So of course, you don't want to just be like, this product is going to flatten my stomach, it's going to make me look so good, and it comes in 3 colors and it's 50% off today only. Like, you don't want to just go that straight to the point. What's really trending right now is just genuine raw content, and like, you want to just sell them along the way, right? You don't want something that just screams that this is an advertisement, right? You want to kind of walk them through it and like, make them really believe that other people are out there experiencing the solution that your product has to offer. You want to make it seem very genuine. And of course, you want to throw in your selling points along the way, but there's so many ways to go about this. You can just have testimonial videos of girls speaking. You can make a voiceover with your own script that slowly sells them along the way. There's so many ways to go about it, but when you're testing, you want to test every single one of those ways. So I guess the last part of your ad, you don't necessarily need to have this in your ad, but it's something you really, really want to consider, and it's going to help you really get sales, is your offer. And that's just your incentive on your audience really buying your product. So speaking of the shapewear, an incentive offer that people might give is buy one get one free, which is super good. It's one of the best offers you could really run if your product promotes it, of course. You don't want to be running buy one get one free on like a backpack or some shit. Like, it has to kind of make sense. So buy one get one free is a good offer. It's just a very incentivizing promotion that you can offer your customers. Buy one get one 50% off, free item included. Like, let's say I'm selling like a dog seat cover. I can include like a harness with it or something for free. Those are just examples. You don't want to just do like 50% off today only. That's so basic. Everyone's seen it. Literally everyone and their fucking mom is running 50% off. Like, don't be different. You really want to find something that's gonna really convince your customers to buy. Because let's say, you sold them along the way, but they're like, I might just hold off on this and get it later. Buy one get one free. Oh shit, this offer is really good, I'm gonna buy it. It's really what's gonna drive your conversion rates up, and it's really what's gonna get people to buy. And this goes back to your website as well. Your website does not matter, but if you have your offer can literally just make up for a shit website. I literally did my first 7 figures in e-commerce with just such a shit website. Obviously it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't anything super fancy and like, all elegant, like that took a whole day to make. It had the basics and that's it. And my offer literally just carried, and that's what got me to where I am now. And of course, later down the line, you're gonna make your website good, which I'll talk about later in this video. But just have good ads and have a good offer, and you'll be good to go, honestly. So when you're testing a product, you don't want to just be making ads for no reason, right? You want to have purpose. You're testing. So you want to test variables that could influence, the way your product sells. So with this product, I tested every single way I could market it, like all the styles. I made testimonial videos, text-only videos, AI voice videos with like voiceovers and stuff. And then I tested all the angles. So I tried appealing to every single possible customer demographic that would want to buy my product. So for an example of, an angle would be, there's this video frame, which I'll show on the screen right here, but some customers might want that to, showcase their pet. That's an angle right there, pet owners. Another person might want it to show off their partner, so the relationship, that's an angle there. So this varies from product to product, of course. Some products may only have like 1 or 2 angles, but you want to make sure you're testing that as well. So with this product, I tested everything possible. I had a whole batch of about 6-7 creatives ready to test. So once I had my batch of ads ready, I went to Meta Ad Manager, because like I said, I only test on Meta, no TikTok at all. And I basically made one campaign, and I threw all my ads under each individual ad set. So if I made 6 ads, I'm gonna have 1 ad set for each one of those ads. So 6 ads means 6 ad sets. And then I turn on something called Campaign Budget Optimization, which is called CBO. And this basically takes your budget that you're choosing to spend, and it just allocates it to each ad in whichever way it thinks it's best. So I personally test with $150. So if I turn on CBO and I choose to spend $150 on that campaign, it'll, use its AI to figure out which ad is probably going to perform the best, and it's going to allocate that $150 in whatever way it wants to. So, usually how it goes is there's 1 or 2 ads that'll soak up about, 80% of the spend, and then the rest of it will go, with that 20%. So you want to just let the AI do its work. You don't want to be manually adding the budgets and stuff like that. That's called ABO, where you choose how much each ad gets and spend. You don't want to do that. A lot of people talk about it, but you really just want to let the AI do its work, because you're literally using the platform that, the Zuckerberg and all these people built. They're going to obviously know with the AI, they're obviously going to know their audience and build the AI around it. So you really just want to trust it. You're no better than Zuckerberg, so don't try to be. Anyone who tells you to run ABO testing, all that stuff is just stupid. Don't listen to them. I'm gonna just, target only North America and Canada. I don't want to target worldwide off the rip. I know some people do that. Honestly, like, it's up for debate, but in my mind, if I can't even get sales in North America, there's no point, right? Because you're gonna always get most of your sales from America. Americans are pretty stupid. They're gonna buy. So if you can't even get sales in North America, there's no point for me, because I really want to just build a brand, and I don't want to build something temporary where I'm selling it for a couple months in Europe and it dies out. So I only test in America and Canada initially, and I always let Facebook do the work. So I choose the advantage placements and the advantage audience. This basically, once again, just lets the AI choose who to show it to and choose where to place it, whether it's, Instagram Reels, the Instagram feed, Instagram story. It just lets the AI do all the work, and that's my philosophy behind it. I just let the AI do the work for me, because I'm no better, right? And then on the ad level, inside the ad set, I put my one ad in, and then I basically just write out a primary text just describing what the product is, and on the headline, I'll put the offer. So very basic, guys, super basic testing strategy. So with this product, I tested with $150 in NA with 6 ads, and the first day, it scaled to the moon. It literally popped off like crazy. And as you guys, I'll show in the graph right now, but it just literally took off. And this gave me all the proof I needed to start scaling. I normally give a product, 2-3 days to really decide if it's good or not. But I knew day one this product was gonna kill. So I just immediately started scaling, and that's where the fun part begins. So in terms of scaling, you definitely want to be pushing volume when it comes to your ads, and that's what I did with this brand. So I literally just started pushing out, 1-2 ads every couple of days, try to make very quality ads, and I would look on Ad Manager and see what was working, what was getting me sales, and I'd be like, okay, how can I take this concept and make a brand new concept out of it? Like, what aspect of this creative is getting me sales? Let me reiterate that and repurpose it in a way where I can make a fresh new creative that isn't just going to be a copy paste of the other one. So I would just be pushing out a lot of creatives, really testing, really getting things going, but I ran into a roadblock, of course. It wasn't just all smooth sailing from there. You heard the saying, more money, more problems. As you guys can see, we did a 50K a day, and I knew then and there I had to kind of scale back because I did not have the back end for this. So we're gonna put this whole scaling thing on a pause, and I'm gonna tell you one of the most important parts of e-commerce, which is setting up a good back end so you really retain your money. Because everyone can go out there showing big numbers, right? But in the end of the day, if you're getting, literally destroyed with returns, chargebacks, and things, all your profit is just going to disappear. So I had to, really dial in my backend because it scaled super fast. Of course, I can continue making 50K a day, but, I want to really retain my money. I know I don't have all my backend infrastructure set up to really support that volume. So I took a step back, turned down all the budgets, even though it hurt my heart. I turned down all my budgets, and I was like, okay, now I'm going to really start building out my backend infrastructure so I can support that type of money coming in. So the first thing I really did was just dial in my backend to make sure I can get orders out on time. So I used my friend's private supplier, and these private suppliers will just go to the factory and buy the product directly for you, because sites like Alibaba, AliExpress, they're all just glorified drop shipping sites themselves. They just make, a bridge between the factory and, the Western world a lot easier, and they just mark up the prices. So to really, check your prices and making sure you're getting factory prices, you can always go on a website called 1688.com. It's all in Chinese, but you can really validate the prices there. You can't buy on there, you have to be a Chinese citizen, so that's why you need an agent. But I got my own agent to, really buy things from there at the factory price, so I'm not paying an extra markup from Alibaba. And this also allows you to really have close ties with the factory, and you can, kind of forecast your inventory and buy a lot of stock. So first thing I did was just get a private supplier, get that supply chain going so I could always constantly pump out orders. And I connected my private supplier to my Shopify so that, they can automatically ship things out and just immediately input a tracking number whenever an order comes in. That's usually how they work. They have special apps that they can do to track all your orders and get orders out literally the second you get them. So that's what I did. I had that set up right away so I can, support that volume. And then the next thing I wanted was customer service, because I knew I would scale this brand super fast. So the next thing I needed was customer service, and I immediately hired a customer service member just from the Philippines. You always want to hire those guys from the Philippines. You pay them a couple dollars an hour. It's pretty fucked, but don't worry. I always give them bonuses and stuff because they're all humans in the end of the day. You want to be treating them well because they're working for you. They're trying to provide for their families and stuff. So always don't get greedy. So I immediately hired, just a basic VA for that, and they just took care of all the emails, took care of all the inquiries. And as you scale up more and more, you're going to want to build out that customer service team more. So I'm going to fast forward a bit here, but I'm just going to talk about it right now. But I typically organize my customer service team this way. So I have a customer service manager at the head of it, and these guys just basically write their operating procedures. They basically just make sure that they're doing their job properly, checking their performances every week, writing out a report to me saying, hey, this person is responding to this many tickets within this time frame, and then this is the customer satisfaction. They're just overseeing the whole operations, making sure that all inquiries are getting responded to properly, refunds are being handled accordingly, stuff like that. And then that customer service manager monitors multiple VAs, these people who just directly handle the emails, and then I integrate them through a platform called Gorgeous, which basically just automates all the, it centralizes everything, all the Instagram DMs, the Facebook DMs, the emails, super dope, the comments, everything. So I have it all structured around there. It's like a nice little hierarchy. And I got all that set up eventually throughout time, but the first thing I did was just hire a customer service member just to take care of the emails, the DMs, to handle all the inquiries, because you don't want to be leaving customers in the dust. It's super important. Otherwise, you're going to get hit with chargebacks. So after I had my supply chain and my customer service team built out, I immediately went back and just started testing more ads. And I kept a level of scale just to, really gauge customer feedback. I just wanted to make sure that everything was good and I had a proper cash flow before really pushing those big days. So I started testing more creatives, I started testing more ads, trying new concepts. The biggest thing when you're, trying to scale your product as well is not just doing what's working over and over again. Like I said, you want to reiterate it and find new concepts, and you want to just really be testing new things. So I'll draw a little graph right here, but with every ad you launch, it's only going to work out for so long, and this is called creative fatigue. And when it starts dropping off, that's when you need a new concept to kind of come in and take over, because you're going to be advertising to so many people a day, literally hundreds of thousands of people a day. So the same thing isn't just going to work over and over again. So you really need to get good at seeing what's working and making new concepts based on that. And the biggest thing I did was just going into my customer audience and really just digging in, looking at reviews of my product, whether it's on Amazon, other places, seeing what people on TikTok are saying about it, seeing what comments are saying about it, seeing what the comments in my ads are saying. Like, I'm really just doing customer research to really figure out what I can do to launch more ads. And I kept just pushing more and more ads and really just maintaining a healthy level of revenue coming in. Because if you don't, as you saw on the graph, it's just all gonna drop and fall. Alright, so ignore the different attire, but anyways, I was maintaining that pretty healthy level of scale, as you guys can see right here, but once again, more money, more problems. So this is the side of e-commerce no one really talks about. Like, it's not all fun and games. Like, it really gets harder and harder, but of course, these are all good problems to have. But anyways, nobody really talks about this, but my payment processing got shut down. So basically, I launched this new store, it was doing so good, and then Shopify Payments just decided to shut me down. And a lot of people do face this problem, and they usually get like a 10 or 20% reserve, where Shopify just holds 10 or 20% of all your money no matter what, and it's just like a security, precaution for them. But with me, I think it's just because I scaled way too quick, and Shopify was like, nope, like, I don't even want to risk you just running away with this money, I'm just gonna shut you down. And this happens to a lot of people as well. And this is the first time it's happened to me, and I was just like, yo, what the fuck? And literally, like, for a whole month, honestly for months, I was just dealing with finding another processor. And if you guys don't know what this means, it basically just means that I can't really have anyone to accept my payments, because your payment processor is the one who takes, the card information from the customers and then, pulls out the money and stuff like that. So they're the ones who gives you the money for your orders. And if I don't have a processor, nobody can even place an order because there's no one to accept the money. So literally, as you guys can see here, I had no payment processing, I had no revenue coming in. And this wasn't because my ads were dying or anything. Like, I was literally at the peak of, growing this business, and it just all died out because of payment processing. So for the next 1 to 2 months, I was just struggling, and I was just trying to find a backup processor. And because this brand was so new, no one really wanted to accept me for high volume. They all capped me, and I was stuck at literally processing 50,000 a month. 50,000 a month. Keep in mind, I did that in 1 day, and that was my cap for the entire month. I couldn't go over it, which I did. I did go over it a little bit, as you guys can see here. Not a little bit. I went over it a lot, but I literally was bottlenecked for so long. I had so many orders I couldn't ship out because Shopify was holding all my money. They wouldn't give it to me. I had no cash flow coming in because I was only limited to 50K a month in cash flow from my new processors and stuff. And it was such a shithole. Like, I had to go through so many refunds, chargebacks. Like, the whole brand reputation was just so bad. But nevertheless, the mentality here is so important. Like, this is what I talk about in all my Discord, everywhere. I always say mentality is so important, because you gotta learn to push through bullshit like this. Because I knew the second I figured all this shit out, once I had cash flow coming in, I could just build a brand back up, and that's what I did. I found a processor through a connection that just approved me for unlimited volume, so I could process as much as I want. So I had no 50K cap, and I could just scale it to the moon. So I just ran up a bunch of money with my new processor, got all the orders out. I had my customer service team on deck, just fucking telling customers hey, this is what we're going through, we'll refund you, blah blah blah. And I just slowly built that reputation back. And this is literally what nobody ever talks about. Like no one ever wants to talk about the bad stuff. They only like talking about the good stuff because that's what people like. But yeah, like I was saying, like literally it's just I never see anybody talk about this, and like that's why when it happened too, I don't even know what to do because no one ever talked about this. But then when I suddenly reach out to a bunch of my e-commerce friends, they're like, oh yeah, we went through the exact same thing, and it's just like, I don't know, it's such an important, like I think this whole event was such an important milestone for me to realize, like, okay, mentality is literally everything. So let this part of the video just be a huge lesson on mentality. Whether you're going through product tests, ad rejections, you know, whatever it is, just like push through it, honestly. Anyways, after we dealt with all of that, it was back to scaling, and I started pushing out even more creatives, and then I built out the second part of my team, which is my creative team. So with that creative team, I have a creative strategist, and this person just does all the copywriting and just plans out the creative. So they build the scripts, they build out like kind of the framework for the creative, and then I hired video editors, and these video editors just work with the strategist, and they have like a very built out network of like communication and stuff like that, where the strategist tells them, hey, this is the script, this is how I want the creative structured, and the video editors just go through all the assets and build the creative and bring it to life. So it's a really, really important system. The power of delegation is so important when scaling your business. You don't want to be wasting your time doing stuff like, you know, responding to emails, making ads. Like those are all things you want to delegate, because once you're at a really, really high level of scale, you have to maintain it. Your creative fatigue it happens a lot more because you're reaching so many people. So it's really, really important to be pushing out so many creatives. Otherwise, you know, your brand, you won't be able to maintain, you know, 30, 40, 50K days consistently. So I built out that creative team. It was a huge and long process because, you know, as you know, like they're responsible for, you know, bringing traffic and bringing sales through the ads. So you really want to be like kind of picky with these people and stuff. So I spent, you know, a good month just interviewing people through LinkedIn, stuff like that. And I built out my creative team. That was the first thing I wanted to do after I dealt with all that payment processing shit. And I basically just built out all my systems for Q4, which is obviously right now. And now we're just pushing creatives like crazy, really trying to scale up to those, you know, 40, 50K days consistently. And that's where we are right now. So anyways, that's the story, I guess, of how I scaled this brand to nearly 2 million in sales in just over 6 months. And honestly, this brand has taught me the most out of any other stores I've ran or I'm running. And it's literally just taught me so much about mentality and just about life in general, honestly. And like, it's all in your head, like deadass. This is what I preach to so many people. Like, it's all about just pushing through adversity and learning from adversity. And, you know, of course, I'll be at way more in sales if I don't have to deal with all the bullshit I dealt with in the first couple months, but that's what builds character, and that's what's going to really help me to scale this business to 8 figures. So that's pretty much how I started. I share literally everything I know in my Discord. It's not behind a paywall or anything. I have like a couple hours of content in there, and I already have people making like, you know, 5, 10K days in there. So if you guys want to get started, don't fucking ask me how, just go in there, watch the videos. But besides that, that's pretty much it, guys, and I will see you in the next video.